It's been 2 years since I did the review on Sig's Romeo 5, and I really felt like it was just time to come back in and revisit one of my all-time favorite optics. For those of you who may be new to the Sig Romeo 5, they are built very well, and I have seen some people online talk a fair amount of trash about them. A lot of the more negative comments that I've seen have been about how the Romeo 5 is actually made in China by HoloSun, and it is essentially a HoloSun with a Sig logo plastered on it. So that's where I want to start. First thing I want to address. Yes, the Romeo 5 is manufactured in China by HoloSun. You actually wouldn't believe how many companies are outsourcing the manufacturing process. If you were to make this optic here in the United States, it would probably cost you 4 or 5 times what the retail cost is now. While HoloSun does actually manufacture the Romeo 5, it is not a HoloSun optic that's been rebranded with a Sig logo. It's built specifically to Sig specifications. I think the HoloSun equivalent is like the, I don't know, H403 or something. I don't have all of their models memorized, but I'm pretty sure it's the 403. Now that particular optic is more expensive than the Romeo 5. It looks very similar, but it's not the same. Side by side, the quality on the Romeo 5 is much better than what the HoloSun version is, and that's because they are building those things to Sig's specification. Sig actually set a really high standard when it came to the optic that they wanted manufactured for them, and it really shows. I don't care what factory it was made in, the Romeo 5 is a damn good optic, and it outperforms most, if not all, optics that are at that same price point. So the story of my love affair with the Romeo 5 starts with a search for an optic that was going to be able to handle the mag dumps out of my Vepr 12. I went through 3 or maybe 4 red dots on the Vepr 12 before I finally ended up getting the Romeo, and I've never looked back. Are there better red dots out there? Well, of course. Are there better red dots out there for the same price? Not likely. So my original Romeo 5 spent quite a bit of time on my Vepr 12. It also spent some time on the BP12 while I was breaking that in and testing that gun. If a red dot can handle the recoil of a semi-automatic shotgun, then you know that it's going to last a while. So here I've got the budget AR pistol build that I did early on here on YouTube. That, of course, has the Romeo 5 on it. What else do we have? Here I've got another rifle. This one is sporting a handguard made by Unique AR. If you haven't checked out their products, you really need to jump on their site and check them out. This one, of course, another Romeo on there. I've got another Romeo here, this time on the KS47 by PSA. An AR that is chambered in 7.62 and takes AK mags. That is a hell of a lot of fun. Now the Romeo is on there for now. I'm kind of looking for something else just because I basically have the Romeo 5 on everything. And I think I want to do something different with this down the road. But for now, that's my primary sighting system on this gun. Now what's more fun than a semi-auto 12-gauge shotgun on an AK platform? Absolutely nothing. This is the original Romeo. This was the first one that I bought. Still going strong. Now these are just a few examples of different guns that I'm using the Romeos on currently. I think I have 2 more Romeos in the gun safe. One hasn't even been opened yet. The other one is currently on the PTR, the MP5 clone. The one that's not open yet, I haven't quite decided what to use it with, but I'll figure something out. I think the point is, when I say that I trust this optic, I really do trust this optic. Otherwise, why would I have so many of them on different guns that I own? Not only can the Romeo 5 handle all different manner of 12-gauge rounds that I put through the Vepr 12, but the summer heat, it hasn't given me any issues with this optic. Pouring down rain, freezing temperatures, no worries. So far, nothing seems to affect the Romeo 5. It completely passes the durability and longevity test for me personally. One of the things I really like about the Romeo 5 is that the packaging comes with 2 mounts, a high mount and a low mount. So when you have this optic on something like an AR pistol where you need it to be up a little higher, you can have that. Then on builds like the Vepr 12, where the optic itself already sits really high, you can use the lower mount so that the optic is closer to the barrel. So I like the fact that Sig goes ahead and includes both mounting systems with the Romeo 5. That way you don't have to pay extra to get the mounting hardware that you're probably going to need. So let's talk about something else that the Romeo 5 has that we can all use, and that's Shake Awake. With their motion activated technology, when you grab your rifle and start to move it, it wakes up and it's ready to go. You can be confident in knowing that every time that you grab your weapon, that red dot is going to be turned on and ready for you when you need it the most. Now I'm going to be honest here. At first, I was a little apprehensive about it. I wasn't quite sold on the idea that the red dot was going to be able to turn itself on faster than I could grab my weapon and pull it up to my shoulder. After testing this many times, yeah, it's definitely faster than I am. Now, that Shake Awake feature, that is part of the reason that the Romeo 5 gets such a ridiculous battery life. Now, after 2 minutes of inactivity, no movement sensed whatsoever, it's going to go ahead and shut itself down. And then the minute that you touch it, boom, it's awake again. Sig says that equals out to about 40,000 hours of battery use. 40,000 hours is a long friggin' time. You definitely aren't going to run out of power with this thing. Now, as a general rule, and I know that most of my viewers already know this and understand this, I would say once a year, pick a day and just change the batteries in all your optics just to be on the safe side. Doesn't matter if it needs it or not. Once a year, generally speaking, on my birthday, I will go ahead and replace the batteries in my optics as well as my smoke detectors, same time. That way I never have to worry about a battery going dead in a situation where I might need it. I don't think that's ever going to be a problem with the Romeo 5 considering that 40,000 hour battery life that it has. But I do feel like it's better to be safe than sorry. Now, one of the primary reasons that I started changing all of my sighting systems over to red dots, of course, is my vision. Obviously, it's not great. And for those of you out there that do have an astigmatism, this is going to be the optic for you. You're going to be able to see that dot nice and bright and clear without any of that weird starburst effect that you're going to find with a lot of other red dots that are out there. For everyone else, if you aren't already using a red dot, you might as well start getting comfortable with one now. One of these days, your vision is going to start going downhill real fast, and believe me, it is better to have a red dot on your weapon and be comfortable with it now while you can still see versus when you get a little bit older and it's a little harder to get your aim on. So, where do I stand on the Romeo 5 after 2 years worth of use? I don't think anyone is going to be surprised when I tell you that right here, right now, 2 years after my first purchase, I actually think that it is a much better product than I originally thought it was 2 years ago. The Romeo 5 is durable. The battery life is ridiculously long. The glass is clean, the glass is clear, and the dot is really easy to see no matter what brightness you put it on. You never have to worry about turning it on or turning it off because that motion activation system is reliable and fast. Faster than you can pick up your weapon, that's for sure. Once it's zeroed, it's going to stay zeroed, and it's going to work on a variety of weapons, everything from your run-of-the-mill AR up to an MP5. Down below is a link, and in that link you're going to see that the Romeo 5 is priced well under what you would expect to pay for this much optic. Value is paying a low price for something that should cost a hell of a lot more than it actually does. That basically sums up the Romeo 5. It should cost, at least $50 to $100 more than what you pay for it. If you're on the fence about buying an optic, if you're on the fence about buying this particular optic, stop hesitating and just buy it. It's going to be one of the best purchases that you can make for any of your firearms. If you do feel like this is the optic for you and you are shopping, use that link down below and help support the channel. That's going to be it for today, everybody. I will be back very soon with another video for you.